The film opens with a boxer named Bae, a skilled fighter who competes in underground matches in Thailand. Even though he had real talent, he never received the platform or recognition he deserved. Living among the same people he once fought with, he slowly slipped into drug addiction. To feed his habit, he eventually began selling drugs. Because of this, he was caught by the police. They found drugs and guns in his possession, which led to a long prison sentence. Before being moved into the jail, Bae was tested and briefed on the prison rules along with the other inmates. The punishments for breaking these rules were extremely severe. The prison world was nothing like the outside. No one helped anyone without gaining something in return. Everyone cared only about themselves. One day, when Bae went to fill water, he got into a fight with a gang. Even though it wasn't his fault, the moment the guards arrived, the inmates blamed the entire incident on Bae. As punishment, he was thrown into a tiny cell where it was almost impossible to even sit. After spending 3 miserable days in that cramped cell, Bae was shifted to another one. This new cell housed dangerous criminals who had formed a gang under the leadership of a man named Kang. They asked Bae what crime brought him there. When Bae said he was imprisoned for selling drugs, everyone mocked and teased him. Eventually, night fell, and everyone went to sleep. In the middle of the night, when Bae went to the toilet, he saw the gang torturing a new prisoner. The sight terrified him. He wanted to help the boy to stop what was happening, but the gang threatened Bae with a knife, warning him that if he told anyone, the same fate awaited him. Shaken with fear, Bae returned to his bed trying to forget everything. But the next morning, he learned that the tortured prisoner had died. Bae's mind exploded with guilt. He had the strength to help that boy, but fear held him back. Because of his hesitation, an innocent life was lost. The shock pounded his head with pain. When Bae approached the warden asking for a painkiller, the warden told him he would only get something if he paid or offered a cigarette, even though this was completely illegal. Furious, Bae snapped and began fighting everyone around him. He lost control in his rage. After beating the guards, he even bit a guard's throat. Quickly, more guards arrived, restrained him, and beat him so brutally that he nearly died. He was thrown into another cell, still wounded and bleeding. In this cell, Bae met a transgender inmate named Fame. Fame helped him immediately, applying ointment to his wounds, but Bae didn't talk much in return. Soon, the officers tied ropes around Bae's hands and feet to prevent him from attacking anyone again. Slowly, his routine returned to normal. One day, in the canteen, Bae saw that it was Fame's turn to distribute food. He approached Fame, asking for help.
I wanted to ask as well if I could get some cigarettes.
Specifically 2 packs of cigarettes, because cigarettes were needed for almost everything inside the prison. Bae promised he would return the favor soon. Fame hesitated, but eventually felt pity and lent him the cigarettes. Bae then went to the prison drug dealer, got cocaine, used it, and fainted. That same night, 3 people were murdered inside the jail. All prisoners were awakened and searched for clues. When the guards reached Bae, they found him high and discovered drugs in his shirt, the same drugs linked to the murders.
It's not mine. It's not mine.
This almost trapped Bae in a murder case.
I promise you it's not mine.
Luckily for him, the investigation showed that the drugs weren't his. Bae had taken cocaine, but the drugs found on him belonged to another prisoner who had planted them to save himself. Eventually, the truth came out and the real culprit was caught. The next day, a guard offered Bae more drugs. Bae used them without hesitation, but when the guard demanded payment, Bay had no money. The guard then gave him an ultimatum. If you don't have money, kill someone for me, and I'll forgive your debt.
I'm not gonna beat up some...
Bay refused at first, but eventually he had no choice. The guard wanted him to kill the Muslim chefs working in the jail. Bay attacked and beat the chefs so badly that they were close to death. The guard was delighted with their condition and offered Bay another packet of drugs, but this time Bay refused. Regret washed over him. He had beaten 2 innocent people simply to feed his addiction. His guilt became so overwhelming that he tried to take his own life. Late at night, he the veins in his arm with a blade. Before he could die, other inmates noticed and saved him. The prison staff realized Bay was mentally breaking down, so they unchained his hands and feet to help reduce his stress. One day, Bay noticed a group of inmates practicing boxing in the yard. Since he was a boxer himself, he went inside hoping to join, but the coach immediately kicked him out, saying he needed money or cigarettes to train.
I'm a boxer, I can show you I can fight.
He tried to explain that he was a skilled boxer and could perform well, but the coach refused to listen. Desperate, Bay went back to Fame and asked for cigarettes one last time. He told Fame he wanted to join the boxing training and promised to repay everything if he ever got selected for a match. Fame believed him and lent him the cigarettes. Bay then went to the prison drug dealer, asked for training, and this time he got access to a punching bag. After so long, Bay poured all his anger, frustration, and pain into the bag. When his trial began, he performed so well that all the other boxers were impressed. His fighting style was completely different from everyone. Bay began training every day. The coach was thrilled with his progress and pushed him hard so he could win the upcoming matches. One day, after training, Bay returned to his cell and found the prisoners playing a fish gambling game, one he knew very well. He joined in and won a large number of cigarettes. With these, he immediately went to Fame, repaid his entire loan, and finally opened up to him. Bay asked Fame what crime brought him to prison. Fame revealed that he had killed his father because his father tortured him for being transgender. Fame was heartbroken over it and started crying. Bay told him that he also had no one except his father, but his father didn't even know he was in jail. Hearing this, Fame even felt worse for him. The two slowly grew close. Bay poured most of his time into the ring now, training non-stop. Finally, the day of the big competition arrived. Many prisoners and high-ranking officers gathered to watch the fight. When the match began, Bay's opponent dominated him completely. He punched Bay repeatedly, cutting his ear and swelling his eyes until Bay could barely see. But Bay refused to give up. He kept fighting until even his opponent began to tire. The moment Bay sensed weakness, he seized the opportunity, landing a perfect punch to the opponent's face and knocking him down. In the end, Bay won the match. Everyone was genuinely happy for him. Even the jail warden was impressed after watching Billy's fighting skills. The warden moved him to the boxing team cell and told him he had earned a chance to fight at the national level, which would take place in 2 months. This match wouldn't happen in the same jail. It would be held in another one. The atmosphere in the new cell was far better. The food was good, the people were decent, and Billy received proper meals and proper training to prepare for the competition. Billy finally felt happy here. Most of the prisoners in this cell were not hardened criminals. Like Billy, they were inside for smaller offenses. He grew close to them, and they all became friends. One day, the group gave Billy a special gift, a tiger tattoo on his back. They believed it would bring him strength and help him win the match. Billy trained harder every day, determined to win that tournament. But one day, when he went to shower, he realized that Kang's gang had surrounded him. These were the same men from his previous cell. They beat him brutally because Billy hadn't paid back their money. Billy begged them not to kill him and promised he would win the tournament and return what he owed. Kang finally let him go, but not without a terrifying warning. He pulled out blood taken from an AIDS patient and showed Billy an injection. If Billy failed to win, they would inject him and kill him. Shaken and overwhelmed, Billy returned to his cell, hoping to find comfort by talking to Fame. But when he got there, he saw Fame busy with other prisoners. That hurt Billy deeply, because he had always been genuinely loyal to Fame. Their argument escalated so much that other prisoners had to intervene and pull Billy away. Completely shattered, Billy turned to drugs again to calm his mind. The drugs relaxed him, but soon he began bleeding internally. He vomited blood and rushed to the doctor. The doctor told him that excessive drug use had severely weakened his organs and caused internal bleeding. On top of that, due to intense training, he had also developed hernias. The doctor banned him from both drugs and heavy exercise, warning him clearly that doing either even once could kill him. Challenges kept piling up for Billy, but he had made up his mind. He would win the tournament no matter what. This was his only hope of surviving in prison. Despite the doctor's strict orders, he went back to heavy training and continued preparing. Finally, the day of the competition arrived. Billy and the other fighters were transferred to another jail. A huge crowd of prisoners and high-ranking officers gathered to watch the match. But right before the fight, Billy felt severe pain. It was so intense, he thought he wouldn't be able to compete. Still, he fought through it and stepped into the ring. Before the fight, both competitors prayed according to Thai tradition. Then the match began. In the first round, Billy performed extremely well. He hit his opponent repeatedly and tired him out. But as the rounds went on, Billy's health deteriorated. A punch to the stomach made everything worse. The opponent noticed this weakness and targeted his stomach over and over until Billy collapsed in pain. His performance dropped so much that no one believed he could do anything in the final round. In the second round, the opponent dominated the fight. When Billy's last bit of hope crumbled, frustration took over. With one desperate move, he drove his elbow into the opponent's throat. The fighter collapsed unconscious, and in that shocking moment, Billy won the tournament. Everyone cheered and celebrated his victory. The warden stood up and applauded proudly. But in the middle of all this, Billy's condition spiraled out of control. He vomited blood and fainted on the spot. Seeing this, officers rushed to get an ambulance, and he was taken to the hospital where his treatment began. For many days, Billy remained unconscious. When he finally woke up, he realized he was still in the hospital, but in much better condition. A nurse noticed he was awake and helped him to the washroom. But when Billy returned to his room, he saw there were no guards watching him. Quietly, he walked out of the hospital. After months, he stepped onto the streets again. The feeling of freedom washed over him. He walked far away, letting the outside world sink in. But then a thought struck him. Was this really freedom? Would he spend the rest of his life running from the police? He didn't want that kind of freedom. After thinking deeply, he turned back and returned to the hospital. Weeks later, once his condition fully stabilized, the police brought Billy back to jail. As soon as he arrived, he received an unexpected surprise. His father had traveled all the way from England to see him. The sight filled him with joy. For a moment, it felt as if he had regained his entire world. They exchanged emotional smiles, and that's where the story came to an end. In the closing scene, it was revealed that the movie is based on the true story of Billy Moore. The man shown as Billy's father was actually the real Billy Moore himself, who had spent 3 years in a Thai prison. The rest of his sentence was later pardoned by a Thai general, and in 2010, Billy Moore was finally released. A novel was later written about his life, and this movie was adapted from that book. Since then, Billy Moore has dedicated his life to helping rehabilitate drug addicts. And that brings us to the end of today's story. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more exciting and entertaining movie summaries. Also, make sure to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next recap.